So, hi, Birger Schäfermeier. Thank you for coming for today. So, I just want to ask a few questions from you. I don't know. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
So yeah, I started my trading business a long time ago, 26 years. It's almost, in the beginning of the 90s, I started trading futures, options, stocks. Now I specialized on trading just a few markets because I really like to be a specialist in something, to be better than my competitors.
Oh. There are so many competitors in this field?
In the trading business, sure, every other trader is your competitor. So if you want to come to this trading business and you like competition, it's the right way because it's the biggest competition in life you could have all day. And every time it's something changing. So that's what I really, really like in that business. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, most traders have a horror story about losing when they first started trading. So what's your horror story now that we have Halloween?
So in 26 years trading, you have lots of horror stories. You couldn't avoid that. Yeah? Trading could happen so much things. And in the beginning, something, maybe things happens you didn't know better. Later on, maybe there are things which happened just by bad luck and one of my biggest losses and one of my biggest horror stories was when one of my traders, I'm trading for my own, but I have some assistants traders who executes my trade. So because I'm not 24/7 in the office, so I also want to enjoy my life. And sure, at that day I was out for lunch, so just out half an hour of the office, maybe an hour, and I asked my assistant to execute a trade for me. He should change a stop, and during that time it was at the in the 90s, so it was not nowadays when everything electronically went so smooth. He had to cancel the order and put a new order with a web browser in. And instead of, the order was buying 10 DAX at 3,660 on stop. And he mixed price and quantity. So these are just two fields, but he mixed that. And so this order, when he mixed that, was directly executed. And he phoned me, "Hi Birger, hey, you got tons of trades here in your execution browser." And I said, couldn't be, because at that time I'm using a pager. The market never reached my stop price, but you have this execution. So I stopped my lunch, went back to the office, and in the moment I saw the computer and all the executions, I know something went wrong and there was something really big shit ahead. Yeah, and while I'm trying to figure out what happens, already the broker called me because I didn't have the money for the margin for all these trades. But during that time, the regulation and this wasn't so strict. Yeah, so it was more a trust. So you have this account and you don't trade over your margin access. But it was several times over my margin access. So the broker called me. It was lots of stress, and we identified. Luckily, he just bought 360 DAX, not 3,600, because the quantity field was just 3 digits. Yeah. But still, this was too much. And when we realized this error, and I offset this error because I have to offset directly, I don't have the money, and it's a good rule. If you make an error, directly offset this. I lost 320,000 euros within 5 minutes, whatever. Oh. Yeah. So this was really horror story because that was big portion of my trading capital at that time, and so
you have to get back up.
I have to get back up. Yeah, and
just like most of the traders.
Yeah, and this was really hard. Still, there was some money in account. There's still possibilities to trade, but it was a huge shock. Yeah.
Okay, so that was back in the ages, but as of now, what is your trading style usually? How long do you typically hold to your positions?
Okay, I'm still a typical day trader, so most of my positions are closed at the end of the day, and I'm going in out several times a day, but not maybe 100 trades or so. It's just a few trades, 3, 4, 5 trades a day, and I'm on average 1 hour in this trade. Okay. Yeah, so it's not really a long span.
Okay, well, because of that, I just remember the Admiral Markets just introduced this automatic close program or options, so traders can actually define a set of rules, like how they're gonna close during the day or during the week. So, what's your rules of closing the trades? Besides that, you're typically a day trader, but probably you are holding swing trades also.
Yeah, sure. The easiest rule is if I lost a certain amount, I close my trades. Yeah, sure. Because loss protection is one of the main tasks of a good trader, so that you're not making too big losses. But for example, if you have some winning trades, you want to also let these profits run. It depends from the market conditions. And so I'm using several kinds of trailing stops during my trading business. Sometimes I'm using trading targets. It depends from the market conditions. So then I'm using some if-done orders. So if this order is executed, close the stop order. So that's the way I'm trading.
And do you make this calculation by yourself, like manually, or you have actually a system who does that? Because recently we realized that actually people using systems, like we have a calculation system in built in Admiral Market platform, and they are like that, you know, they can actually just put a few numbers there, and the system now calculates like the stop loss, how much money you want to lose, win. And in the old times, you know, we had to do it by hand driving.
I could recommend this to any trader that you really, if you already have your trading plan, which is crucial and important for the trading, that if you have a possibility to enter this into a software or whatever, it's much easier to execute this when the software is doing that than if you're sitting before that and have to do it by yourself. If you do it by yourself, maybe some emotions stops you doing that what you plan to do, and so for most of the traders, it's very good. It's a good help if they have some software which supports them.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So just a quick question about if you have to pick, which one is your favorite analytical tool?
Oh, I don't like indicators. I'm not using indicators. I'm really a trend follower. So what I'm really looking at the price. Yeah, I'm looking at the prices. You could use a bar chart. You could use candlestick, whatever. But really, my main approach is just watching at highs and lows of the chart.
Cool. So do you use like a tester, like a strategy tester? We realize that some people. They're actually using a strategy tester, so they can test their strategy. However, the market changes so fast and you have to adjust yourself to the market. Yeah. I don't know if you use any tester like that.
No, it's not the way I'm working. It could be a help if you have a strategy tester to see if something, what you try to do, makes sense or not. Yeah, but lots of people, what they're doing is they just try to fit something which fits perfect to the past, but will never fit to the future, because if something fits too perfect to the past, it would not fit for the future. Markets are moving. So if you have a system, sure, you should test this. Yeah, you should know what you're doing. Yeah, that's all fine, but at the end of the day, it must make sense what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can give only one advice to the beginners, what would be that? Because we would like to include your advice into our zero to hero education.
It's a very if they're already in an education program, they're doing completely the right thing. The best advice I could give them is get the skills, get the knowledge, and train. Yeah, because most of the people don't take serious. So they're not looking for skills. They're just looking for profits. But you make not profits without skills. They don't want knowledge. Yeah, and without knowledge, you don't know which kind of skills you have to develop. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and then even if you know what kind of skills you need, what knowledge, then it's still very important to train this until you really can do this. So, for example, there's a study in psychology. You have to do a process 400 times in the right way until your brain builds some synapses that you really can do this subconsciously. Yeah. So until you don't do that, there will be stress involved in your trading, and maybe you don't know what to do in the next step, and you will make errors. So it's so important. Training, learn the skills, knowledge, training.
Great. What do you like the most about trading besides profit?
I'm a passionate trader and I'm dedicated to this business because, you know, I really like to see how markets react to all the things which happens in the world. So I think everything is connected in such way, and the markets are showing beside from polls and other things what really happens, yeah, and what really the things mean, yeah. You could have maybe the idea that some political decisions are good for you, but when the market's telling other thing, I'm pretty sure that most of the times the markets are right. So, and I like this straight way of thinking of the markets, yeah. It's not what you wish. It's not what could. It's that what it is, and that's what I really like.
Exactly. So today we have about 500 people here and today who's watching you, and we have a few hundreds who's watching you online. So what's your feeling about so far today? And I don't know if you had this live broadcasting before, or what do you think about that?
It's a good possibility if you're not good being here, yeah, to join us. I like to share my ideas, and I told in the beginning of my presentation that I'm really proud of all the students I helped to become a better trader, and when they come back to me after some years and said, okay, Birger, I made it, and great thanks for your help, because you know, the trading business is one part of my life. If I'm sitting before my computer, I have a market, I have profits and loss feedback, but that's not a social life. And so I really enjoy, because trading is my passion, to interact with people, and that's what I'm doing when I'm educate them, when I share my ideas with them, and I want to help them to become better trader. Right.
So you have now about 500 people who thanks you very much for coming today, and well, we will continue with the strategy part, and after that some more psychology. So sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.